What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is 8:54 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. That means only one thing. That Jukebox Dance-Off Season 2 is back, but unfortunately not live. It is pre-recorded on a beautiful Wednesday evening. I'm your host, the Black Lantern Bale. We have a great match to kick off season number 2, I guess, would be Andrew Barr versus JD West, which is going to be a great little sort of mini tournament towards the title. But we're going to see how things go. But first, we have to get to our judges today, starting off with the person who usually helps me run person to help me runs Nerdgasm. He also runs Fandom, fellow multiplex admin Caleb. Caleb, how are we doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to be back into Jukebox Dance-Off and to get to kind of see what the new blood is and who's actually going to be like a really solid debater coming into the season. So,
all right. Also judging today, making his Jukebox Dance-Off debut, he'll actually be competing next week. That is one little boat, Caleb Bowman. Caleb, how do you feel about music debates and these competitors?
Yeah, I mean, I like debate stuff in general. I'm never going to be like a Cody Newberry in it, but, I like it, and it's fun. Music, movies, anything I know a little bit about, that's fun. And, yeah, I'm excited to see how these two are going to face off.
Right. Well, let's get right to our competitors. Start off with JD West. JD, you have had somewhat fortunate luck in Jukebox Trivia itself. You haven't done any playlists, and this is obviously your dance-off debut. But how do you feel? Did you prep a lot? What's your strategy, and how do you feel going up against Andrew?
I'm glad to debut in dance-off, because hopefully I could get that time of our lives bullshit off my back.
Absolutely. And your opponent today is one Andrew Barr. Andrew, if memory serves me right, I think the only Jukebox appearance you have is on an episode of the Eagles playlist.
That's correct.
But how do you feel about stepping into the realm of music debate?
I'm really excited. I'm ready to merengue. I'm ready to cha-cha. I'm ready to tap dance. I'm ready to dance in general. Best of luck to my opponent. But most respect to him. But yeah, I'm ready to win.
All right, guys, so let's get right into it. There are 4 prep questions that the players were given to and submitted. It is a race to 3, so in the event of a 2-2 tie, there is a speed round tiebreaker. 1 minute opening, followed by 5-minute freeform and 4.5 seconds of closing. We are going to start with question number 3, which is, what is the worst rap crossover song? Now, JD, because you answered first on this question, Andrew is going to be start opening the debate. You have 1 minute, and time is going to begin whenever you start talking.
The worst rap crossover is one where no one wins in the end. If one person still ends up taking the song to a new height, it's still something that worked. Whereas one song that didn't work with everyone that worked on it is Can't Stop Partying by Weezer and Lil Wayne. The production is awful. The songwriting is lazy and actually kind of awful as well in other ways. But I'm going to yield the rest of my time because I like to argue more in the middle round.
A short and concise opening remark. I do like it, but let's go over to JD for his choice. What do you feel is the worst rap crossover song?
In my opinion, the worst, what defines a bad crossover song is either it's cringy to the point of not being listenable, or just no emotion in it at all. And I chose the what the heck were they thinking when they were writing this song, the side of it. I chose Brad Paisley featuring LL Cool J, Accidental Racist, because I get what they're trying to do, but the execution is so out of left field that it has no ties to the original message whatsoever.
All right.
Yield right of time.
Yeah, you actually ended pretty well right on time. We're going to go right into the 5 minutes of freeform. I am gonna do I'm gonna do one thing though during the free form. I'm just gonna give you like a little 1 minute warning. I'll verbalize that, but just ignore me and keep going on if you're in the middle of something. So 5 minutes. Let's go.
Okay, here's the thing with Accidental Racist. Did it not exactly follow execution? Yeah, but there's a lot of really good things with it. The production in this song is actually really nice. It's got this warm instrumentation. The layering is really good. Whereas with Can't Stop Partying, all you hear is just this awful thudding and like things that are coming out of nowhere. They're overlapping the vocals, and Lil Wayne on this is doing that thing where he just raps off the top of his head and he does not have anything planned, and it's awful.
You talked about bad songwriting in your opener. Here's some lyrics from the actual song Accidental Racist. If you don't judge my do-rag, I won't judge your red flag. If you don't judge my gold chains, I'll forget the iron chains. That is straight up cringy, in my opinion. They were trying to go for a Paul McCartney, Stevie Wonder, Ebony and Ivory type thing, but it just crapped the bed in execution, and the beat is listenable, but it falls off at certain points.
First of all, I wouldn't say that it's just listenable. I would say that it's also very well executed. And also, Accidental Racist is actually more about being proud of where you're from, but understanding the issues of the past that still linger and how we automatically stereotype. So it's a lot deeper than what I think you're giving it credit for. Whereas with Can't Stop Partying, I gotta have Patron, I gotta have the goose, I gotta have a car, I can't stop partying. One line in particular, screw rehab, I love my addiction. Wow. Okay. Yeah, you want to talk about bad songwriting? Also, the main songwriter on this song, as well as the head producer, Jermaine Dupri, has openly admitted that he was drunk when he made it and didn't really expect anyone to pick it up.
Yeah, but there are many types of songs like Can't Stop Partying that get lost in the weeds. Blame It on the Alcohol is just basically listing off different types of alcohol.
But that was better.
You have I'm trying to figure out the name of it, but you have certain songs where it's just saying how much money you have, like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million in my bank account. And honestly, this Weezer song gets lost in the weeds of those because, yeah, there are a lot of bad party songs out there, but to try to take a positive message and screw it up so badly, it's just not a good song in my opinion.
But the intention was still good. Plus, when you combine that with the passion that both of these singers are actually really singing with, you kind of buy that it's coming from a good place. Whereas with mine, no one sounds like they're trying at all. Rivers Cuomo is doing that thing where he's like singing, but he's going, "This is really stupid." Lil Wayne is doing his off the top of his head thing, where he obviously put no thought into it. And once again, the main songwriter was drunk. He clearly did not care. Whereas with Accidental Racist, they actually cared, and you can feel that they were trying to do something well. You feel the passion. You don't feel the passion in Can't Stop Partying.
Yes, you feel the passion with Accidental Racist, but it's misplaced passion because they mean well, but there's a lot of lyrics in here that just crap the bed with quality.
Once again, mine one has screw rehab. I love my addiction. What a great message to be sending forth to everyone listening to that. Plus, once again, the production in mine, no one wins. No one wins in mine.
Time. All right. Ending on time. Did not have to apply the Jessica Morgan rule. You OG dance-off fans will understand what I mean by that. But let's get right into the closing arguments. JD, you're going to start. You have 45 seconds to wrap up your arguments and present them to the judges.
Like I said earlier, accidental racist means well, but the execution is bad. I think that's more of a worse crossover than just people who weren't really trying because they knew it was bad. This song, in my opinion, is the only flaw in a flawless career of Brad Paisley because they're trying to do MDA Ivory thing, and bless their heart, it just did not pan out the way they wanted to, and it has some cringy dialogue.
Time. Sorry. All right. We'll go on to Andrew. You have 45 seconds. Time begins whenever you start talking.
Once again, a successful crossover collaboration is one where someone still is able to stand out. Either that or they work together very well. With yours, they both actually work together very well. The production is beautiful. And the songwriting, I think we take this song and look at it in a light that's not the light that it's meant to be looked in. Once again, it's more about the struggle with loving where you're from, but understanding the dark history behind it. Whereas with mine, it's lazy, it's insipid, no one tried, no one cared, and because of that, no one feels anything. And I yield the rest of my time.
All right. Excellent arguments made by both. I'm going to go first, and I'll pass it off to the rest of the panel. I got the general consensus of what both were trying to present. I think JD's main attack was that, Can't Stop Partying is a bad song, but it's lost in these other like I'm rich drunk sort of thing. Whereas Andrew went on about like, well, there's no thought process behind the actual song itself, and I think there is something to be looked at in Accidental Racist. But where I'm going to lean towards Andrew because he gave me a little more substance. I think he balanced his attack. It balances his attack and defense. And I think even JD sort of got stumped up in trying to present a rebuttal. And I think that's where the edge goes to me. But I am not the only judge here. I will go to Caleb Coho. Who gets your point more?
I think this was a pretty clear-cut debate for me. I think it came down to the one or two facts each person picked and who could present more arguments in the main rounds than the other. I think Andrew did that well. He was able to counter JD's points, and JD didn't really bring up anything new in his main rounds or in his closing for Andrew to really have to rebuttal, so he just kept countering the one point by JD and throwing out new points for him. So I would give the point to Andrew.
All right, so Andrew does get the first point of the match. Mr. Boatman, your vote did not count, but how would you have swayed?
Yeah, I also would have given the point to Andrew. I think where Andrew was actually able to find some good substance in the in the lyrics of Accidental Racist. Good substance in the racist. Good substance in the lyrics of Accidental Racist. I thought that he actually made some good points about like it being about stereotypes and how there was actual good intention in there. So yeah, Andrew does get my point.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to question number 4 in our programs, but number 2 on the show. And that question is, what song best defines summer? As we are in the middle of a great summer season nonetheless. JD, you were going to go to first on this one. You have 1 minute. Time begins when you start talking.
Okay, well, Summertime, in my opinion, in song form is you don't necessarily have to go somewhere to be in the summertime spirit. And that's true in my pick, which is Toes by Zach Brown Band. Where he's thinking about the summer waiting to happen while he's still trapped in the airport, and they're just going off to they're going off to basically a beach somewhere, not having a huge summer party. They're just
Time. All right. So that you warm this up, we're now going to go over to Andrew. You have 1 minute. Time begins when you reach it up.
Drums, please. If you didn't automatically hear Summertime by DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, then I'm sorry, you're missing out on a really great song. This is one of those songs that is so smooth, and it's wrapping of just everything about the summer that I love. And also the real playfulness of it. It's just so wonderful to listen to, especially when you're driving in a car on a really nice warm day and you're heading towards the beach. This is the perfect one to pump on. But I'm going to yield the rest of my time and make the rest of my argument.
All right. Well, ending a little bit early there. We'll see how that goes. On to the 5 minutes of freeform, gentlemen. Let's get it on.
All right. So here's my problem with Toes. I think Toes is a good song, but when it comes to this particular question, I find Toes to be more of a song about vacation than it necessarily is the summer. When I hear that song, I think Cabo. I don't necessarily think summer. And also, if I was to go with a song like that, I'd rather listen to Rum by Brothers Osborne. I know they're not necessarily about the same thing, but they have the same feel.
I agree with you that it's about vacation, but most people think about vacation around summertime, and this song is great because it doesn't blast in your face that summertime. It could be for any occasion, but it works really well in the summer because all you want to do in the summer is just relax, kick your feet up on the beach, and just forget about work. And that's a great summer song, in my opinion.
Summertime does the exact same thing, even though it's not necessarily on a beach. You can vacation anytime. I mean, I know plenty of people who have gone to Bermuda when it's winter because they want to escape from the cold weather. With mine, not only are the lyrics wrapped in just summer of like barbecues and the fact school's out and the temperature's about 88, but also the production in this, it's soft, and most importantly, it is warm. It is the kind of production that actually makes you feel warm when you're listening to it. And it's so nice and relaxing and smooth and laid back. The instrumentation on Toes, every time I listen to it, I'm like, this is exactly the kind of music I hear when I go to like a tiki bar and I get really annoyed by the music that they're playing. Also, once again, there are some moments in Toes that I'm like, that's really kind of silly and very stereotypical. Like the summer's like sun-kissed skin. Like, I haven't heard that before.
Yeah, in summertime, there are moments like that also. Because I've heard multiple summertime songs where you're just where you're just hopping in the water, you're just driving, and there's a lot of stereotypical things in, well, not necessarily stereotypical in the bad sense, but there is stereotypes in summertime also, school being out, driving in the water. So a lot of songs are that way.
But the way that Summertime does it, it's more tight, and it's actually better written and better composed. Whereas with other songs, that when you do that, it becomes awfully clunky and not fun to listen to because you've heard it a million times. Also,
1 minute.
Also, as I said, Will Smith's laid back flow in this is exactly the kind of flow I would hope to hear in a Summertime song, because that's when you start to feel the weight of the heat, and that's when you start to really relax and take yourself off of whatever stress you're having. And that's exactly what Will Smith is doing in this song. Whereas with Toes, once again, it's a Jimmy Buffett song. Jimmy Buffett's done it better. And another thing is,
I'm actually sorry. I'm gonna stop it there. We're about 30. We're 30 seconds early, but I think I've heard enough, and that's sort of freeform. We're actually gonna go right into the closing arguments, and that's gonna start off with the back two of Andrew. You're gonna have 45 seconds to wrap your arguments and present to the judges accordingly. So.
Okay. Summertime by DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince is the one that actually not only reminds you of summer, but it actually feels like summer, with Will Smith's laid-back flow, the soft, warm production, the lyrics that are very descriptive and well-written. Whereas with Toes, it's a vacation song, it's a Cabo song, but it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be summer. And Summertime, my song, I only listen to it during the summer. I can listen to Toes anytime, and I yield my time.
All right. Good closing arguments there. We're gonna go over to JD for the final one. You have 45 seconds. Time begins.
A good summer song, in my opinion, is where it does it, where you can listen to it pre-summer, summer, and post-summer, and that's why I chose Toes, because it's a great vacation song. You're laying in the sun, you're not worrying about life, and even before the summertime, you're thinking about it in the song, because in the song it says he's thinking about it in the airport. That's how much he wants to be in the sun in the summertime, and that's why I chose Toes. Yield rest of time.
All right. Let's go over to the judges panel. I'm going to start off with Caleb Boatman. Your vote did not count first. Sorry, your vote did not count last time. But how are you swaying for this one?
Yeah, for this one, I think that Andrew really hit a lot of the stuff on the head with the stereotypical lyrics of Toes, and just how like recognizable just the first two words of Summertime are. And I don't think JD really hit enough on Summertime for me. I think the focus was kept more on defending Toes than really attacking Summertime enough. So Andrew.
Right. I'm going to go next. This very easily goes to Andrew. I think Andrew, once again, you could tell that he prepped a lot for this question. He had a lot of points to bring up. JD did two things that I don't like in debate. He agreed with his opponent. That's something that I think he should never do. And second, there's a lot of dead air. He sort of gave his opponent a couple opportunities to throw in that extra jab, and that's just something. Unless you're throwing haymakers the entire time, it's not necessarily going to work. So Andrew gets to the second point of the match. Coho, how would your point have swung?
I would have also given it to Andrew. Andrew did a better job of selling me on why it's a summer song and explaining it to me, whereas JD had to kind of fall back on his, well, pun intended, toes to try and defend why it works for summer. And Andrew just kept hitting and hitting and hitting, and JD wasn't really defending. So I give that to Andrew.
All right. Well, Andrew does take a 2-0 lead going into question number 3. Question 1 in your programs, but number 3 on the show. This is the question of who is the best country artist working today. We are in knockout territory, so JD, in order to continue, you have to hit this point. Andrew, you're going to be going first. You have 1 minute. Tell us who you think is the best country artist working today.
The person I think is the best country artist working today, his name is Jason Isbell. Who's Jason Isbell, I hear you asking? That's right. I said Jason Isbell. He used to be a member of the Drive-By Truckers, but he also has his own solo act, and he is part of the 400 unit as well. This is a man who is one of the best lyricists working today in any genre. He's a heck of a guitar player. He can play a steel guitar better than most other people working today. He also has fantastic range and a style, but I'm going to yield the rest of my time and focus my argument on the middle.
All right. Excellent. I'm going to go over to JD now for his opening statement. Who do you feel is the best country artist working today?
Like I said in my first question, that song was only a flaw on this man's great singles, of the main great singles this performer has made, and I chose Brad Paisley. The main reason I chose this because even to this day, he made a single called My Miracle back in like February of this year. He's still keeping true to his of why he got into songwriting in the first place, where he was writing songs about his wife, his relationship, and yield time.
All right, perfect. Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll go into the 5 minutes of freeform. Once again, JD, you do need to hit this to advance, so let's get it on.
I didn't know that the Nationwide guy that stands next to Peyton Manning in all of those commercials is a country artist. Yeah, unfortunately, Brad Paisley, he's still releasing music, but he's not releasing music as good as he used to. Jason Isbell has surpassed him in every level when it comes to his lyrics, what he writes about, how he writes. His vocal timbre is actually a lot better than Brad Paisley's, and his songs don't tend to blend together like Brad Paisley's does.
Yeah, well, when I think of artists that are currently working, I don't think of somebody whose last single was 2 years ago. I think of somebody who's still making music today, who has many different themes in his songs, but he's still on that main track of singing about his wife, and I think that is really touching. And
Okay, so first of all, Jason Isbell has been releasing music for a while. His last album, I believe, was 2017, and he had 2 singles off of that album, White Man's World, and I believe it was Cumberland Gap, as well as songs like Traveling Alone, which is a beautiful song. If you ever get the chance to listen to it, I highly recommend it. And we want to talk about range. Let's talk about songs like Elephant, about a woman who has cancer that he's known for a long time, that has always had a massive crush on him, and him kind of faking a relationship with her in order to help ease the pain and ignore the elephant in the room. That is amazing. That kind of storytelling in Jason Isbell's lyrics. Let's also talk about something more than free. When he gets home from work and he wrestles off his clothes, but he's just happy for the work that he has because it gives him something in life. Wish We Were Vampires is this gothic song about the love of his life, but also understanding that they have limited time together and using that time to spend it together. Whereas if they were vampires and they lived forever, their love would fade because there was nothing to fight for.
Yes, well, you want to talk about range. Brad Paisley goes from Whiskey Lullaby, which is a beautiful, heart-wrenching duet, to American Saturday Night, which is arguably better party song than most of the other party songs out there.
Okay, but the other problem that Brad Paisley has is that sometimes he slips into checklist lyrics. Old Glory Flying, Iced Tea on the Porch, NASCAR, all in one song. And that's just lazy songwriting when you do that sometimes. Also, I hate to do this to you. You brought up Accidental Racist, though. That's a bad song. That's a real bad song. Jason Isbell doesn't have a song like that on his track record.
I bet with enough research time I could find a bad song. But I'm not going to focus too much on bad songs. I'm going to focus on good songs. And in my opinion, there was only one bad song in Brad Paisley's entire discography.
Jason Isbell has 0 bad songs in his entire discography. Every single song off of every single album is
1 minute remaining.
beautifully produced, beautifully written. Jason Isbell throws himself into these songs, and none of his songs start to blend together. They're all unique and different enough that I can instantly recognize which song that is. Whereas with Brad Paisley, his ballads sometimes really start to blend together, and I can't tell which one is which. Plus, once again, Brad Paisley was a great artist. He's not the best artist working today.
Neither is Jason Isbell because he's not working today. As far as I know, his last stuff
He just made a new song.
2017, 2 years ago.
He also wrote some of the music and lyrics for A Star Is Born, which was last year. I just saw him on tour. He played a brand new song that has not been released yet.
Time. Interesting freeform. We are now going to go into the closing arguments. JD, you will be going first. Potentially the last 45 seconds that you have. Who is the best country artist working today? Be sure to wrap up your arguments and present them accordingly.
A great artist is not defined by his bad songs, but he rises above the bad songs. And that's why I chose Brad Paisley also, because he has great songs like American Saturday Night, Water, Whiskey Lullaby, My Miracle, She's Everything, Wrapped Around My Finger. There are so many good songs of his that outweigh the one bad song he did, and he is still keeping true to why he got into songwriting in the first place, and to keep that line of vision on the goal that you came in from the beginning to do. I think that transcends a lot of other people's reasons for getting into songwriting.
Time. All right, we're going to go into Andrew's closing arguments. You have 45 seconds. Time begins whenever you sit up.
Jason Isbell not only built his career on country music, but he is expanding what country music can be. If We Were Vampires is a beautiful gothic country song. Children of Children is a wonderful song that towards the end almost kind of teeters on the verge of country progressive. Brad Paisley has just kind of stayed dormant recently ever since Southern Comfort Zone. He's been kind of dormant and kind of doing the same thing. Whereas with Jason Isbell is still pumping out great music and is expanding what country music can be. And I yield my time.
All right, excellent. I'm going to go to the panel now for their decision. Caleb Goho, since your votes did not count last time, we'll go to you first. Who gets the point for you and why?
I'm giving this pretty handily to Andrew. I mean, I think coming into this fight, JD had the more commercial pick, the pick that most people understood and knew and could get behind. And Andrew was fighting the uphill fight with Jason Isbell from the beginning, and he won it. He fought uphill and made me understand why Jason Isbell is the better country artist by bringing up his discography and what kind of songs he writes and what specific songs mean. Whereas JD kind of fell back on the commercialism bit and kind of had to backpedal and defend on why one of his earlier choices kind of bit him in the butt there. So, yeah.
All right. So we're now over to Caleb Boatman, who gets your point and why.
Okay, I first want to start this off by saying I hate country music. I'm sorry.
Oh, listen
I'm
to
not a
country
fan.
music.
So I had no real dog in this fight, but I'm giving the point to Andrew because he hit on the variety of Jason Isbell, the fact that Brad Paisley hasn't really done much and has stayed dormant recently, and the kiss of death, which was accidental racist.
Well, gentlemen, that means that your winner is Andrew James Barr, winning 3-0.
Good match, JD.
I also would have went with Andrew. I think in that last like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, he just sort of put the pedal to the floor and it's like, all right, we're going for the kill here. And I think he had punch after punch after punch, and I think JD sort of got redundant. Whereas like I'm not going to talk about the bad songs, but yet had an underlying theme, had the base of his argument being like these good songs outweigh the bad one. But let's go to Supposed's interview, starting off with our winner, Andrew. If my math is correct, or if my memory is correct, you are the second, potentially third person to get a knockout in Dance Off. How do you feel about your performance today?
I feel good. JD brought some arguments that as soon as I saw them, I was like, oh crap, because he's right. Accidental racist is bad and Brad Paisley is phenomenal. So he had me shaking in my boots with those picks and some of the arguments that he brought up. But this was fun. I had a great time. Once again, much respect to my opponent, JD. You did a great job. And thanks for making this a really good fight.
All right. One quick follow-up question. Your opponent is actually on call right now wearing the, I believe, an Alexander Hamilton shirt. I'm Canadian, so I don't know.
Alexander Hamilton hat, sir?
Yeah. So how do you feel about going up against a person who has given me a half a headache along with Matthew Rosa?
All right. Once again, Caleb was one of these people that is actually a staple of the leagues in general, whether it be movies, music, what have you. And I'm excited to go up against him, but he better grow that weak-ass mustache out again so he can catch the tears that are going to start falling from his face when I rip him to shreds in our match.
See, I was gonna.
Shots have been fired.
Somebody get a doctor.
I was gonna play nice because I actually respect this man, but now fuck
My
you.
respect to you.
I'm going to knock your ass out for that one. Listen, Jason Isabel ass, listen, motherfucker. Like I am going to use your own tastes against you. So you have to sit there and tell me why your favorite artist is the worst person of all time. I'm going to make you wish you never stepped in a debate ring and that you wish you had never, ever, 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 ever put in a pair of headphones to listen to music in your life. So, bitch boy, sit the fuck down because you're about to get schooled in the world of Jukebox Debate.
And that is music to my ears.
I'm going to be ordering the Tylenol right after this call for that headache that I will be having. I'm going to go over to JD West now. JD, of the debate matches that I've seen you play in and host as well, I think this is probably your best performance and probably your best medium. Given the questions that you had, you were able to sort of expose your country roots and your country passion, but unfortunately, just couldn't get any traction going. How do you feel about your performance today?
Yeah, I'm glad I've had this match. This was a good match despite me getting knocked out. It was still a pretty good match. And like I've said in other debate formats, I'm basically the Josh Bakuga and Mike Carlson of these debates. I come here, have fun. If I get points, great. If I don't, that's fine also.
That's honestly what I like to see. Regardless of win or loss, if there's good sportsmanship, I think that's the important thing. Thank you for coming out to compete. We've already had Caleb co-host thoughts, so we are going to go over to Caleb Boatman. How do you feel about the match in general? And as somebody who is competing next week, how do you feel about this new crop of players?
I'm very excited to see what Andrew can do. I am very, very happy that he completely murdered Caleb Coho. There is no Caleb Coho anymore, which means I'm the only Caleb that is left. So I'm okay with that.
Hashtag the true Caleb.
Next week.
Hashtag true Caleb.
You're losing next week.
You know, I'm glad I got to judge this because now I kind of get to see how the format works and what I need to do. And yeah, I'm excited to actually play that match. I believe David Jimenez is the guy who I'm playing. I have no idea who that is, but hopefully this will be a good match.
So David was really close to being the number one contender in Jukebox Trivia. Lost in the finals of Dance Off. But enough about that. We're going to wrap things up today. I want to thank both competitors, Andrew and JD, and our judges, Caleb Coho and Caleb Boatman. I'm the background of Brooklyn Vale. Thanks for tuning into the season premiere, season 2 of Jukebox Dance Off. If you're looking for more Dance Off matches, be sure to check out the entirety of season 1 that we did actually around this time last year. So cheers, guys. And as always, drive safely.